Good evening, boys and girls. This is lesson number 3 for lower elementary. This is lesson number 3 for grades 1 through 3. The name of this lesson is intervals, and we're going to be studying the distance between two notes. That is an interval. Have you heard the word interval before? Interval. Here it is on the board. Interval. It starts with an I, so the first part of the word is inter and not enter. Not like enter like you're coming into a room, but inter, which means between. Inter. Can you think of a word that starts with inter? I can think of one, interstellar, intergalactic. It seems like I've got space on my mind today. There are probably, here's a cool word. It's a complicated word, but it's probably going to come up in a spelling bee. Interstitial. Interstitial is a type of cell that's between two other tissues in your body. Interstitial cells. Cells that fill up, that form the inners of certain organs in your body. Interstitial cells. So, inter is a good word to know. It means between. And an interval is the distance between two notes. So an interval is the distance between two notes. So as I play some random notes on my marimba, let's just listen to some different intervals. That's a nice interval. It's a pretty big interval. What about this one? That's a smaller interval. What about this one? There's a nice interval. All of those were ascending intervals because they went from the left to the right on the keyboard. They went from low to high. So low, high, low, high, low, high. Even though they're very close, there's still a lower note and a higher note. So those were ascending. Those were ascending intervals. Here's some descending intervals. High, low. High, low. High, low. And even this one, even though those notes are right next to each other, there's still a higher note and a lower note. Boys and girls, when you use the word high in music, you mean to the right of the piano, to the right side of the piano. And if you've ever noticed on your Orff instrument, the notes are smaller on the high end and they're bigger on the low end because wood vibrates at a lower interval, at a lower frequency when the wood is longest. When the wood is shorter, it vibrates at a higher frequency. So the shorter notes on the keyboard on these marimbas make the higher sounds, and the longer, physically longer notes make the lower sounds. So intervals, distances between two notes, can be ascending intervals that are going up, low, high, or they can be descending intervals that go down. High, low, high, low. All right? So let's review that much. An interval is the distance between two notes, and intervals can be ascending, low, high, or they can be descending, high, low, okay? An interval can be ascending or descending. Would you try something right now? Would you listen to the intervals that I play, and will you say out loud whether it's an ascending interval or a descending interval? And right now, it's okay if you want to watch. It's okay if you want to watch. But I want you to say out loud if it's an ascending interval, meaning it goes up, low, high, or if it's a descending interval, which goes down, high, low. All right, are you ready? Here's the first one. Is that ascending or descending? It was descending. Listen one more time. High, low. All right. Listen to this one. Is this an ascending interval or a descending interval? Want to listen one more time? it's ascending, right? It goes up. If it goes from low to high sounds, if the pitches are low at first and high after, then it's an ascending interval. It's going up. Let's do one more. This one's going to be the hardest because it's a small interval. Are you ready? Some people have a hard time hearing that one. Is that ascending or descending? It's an ascending interval. Low, high, low, high, low, high. Okay, so now we know that intervals can be ascending or descending, and that an interval is the distance between two notes. So now we come to the big part of this lesson, and that is the interval song. Boys and girls, I want you to learn this interval song by memory. I want you to be able to sing it for me when we finally can be together in class again. It's the interval song, and it goes like this. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, octave. What do you say we do it again? You can just listen to me this time, and then we'll go slow, and maybe you can sing along with me. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, octave. Boy, that has a lot of vocabulary words in it, doesn't it? I heard the words major, I heard the word minor, I heard the word perfect, I heard the word octave, and I heard a bunch of numbers. Did you? The numbers were 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then octave. And guess what? Octave is Greek. Oct. It means 8, like an octopus. So octave is 8 notes. The distance of 8 notes. Octave. So that's like a short way to say 8 notes. Octave. Okay. So we had numbers, and we had major, we had minor, we had perfect, and we had octave. Listen one more time. There's something going on different when I go up the scale versus when I go down the scale. Will you listen this time and see if you can hear I change one of the words? All right, are you ready to listen? Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth. That's not it. Major sixth, major seventh, octave. Now listen. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, octave. Did you hear it? Okay, so as I go up the scale, I use the word major, and as I go down the scale, I use the word minor. Minor. Major and minor. Major and minor are two of the most important characteristics of music, period. Two of the most important characteristics of music, period. Major or minor. Is the song happy? That's in major. Or is it sad? Songs sound sad, major songs sound happy. Major and minor are two very important characteristics of all music. All music that you'll ever hear in the world from this point on in your life is either major or minor or a mixture of those two. And if it's a mixture of those two, it's called modal mixture. So major, minor, or modal mixture, meaning both. It's minor for a little while, it's major for a little while, goes back to minor. But all music is either major or minor or a mixture. And I'm going to sing a song for you in just a second that is happy and bright and major. And then we'll try to think really hard about a song. Oh, you know what? I know a song that's minor. Okay, so we can do 2 songs in just a little while. But let's go back to our interval song right now. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, minor sixth, minor seventh octave. Moms and dads, please, I apologize, but I've recorded this thing 6 times. I don't want to stop the camera right now. I just made a little mistake with that song. Let me give you that song again, boys and girls. Are you ready? Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh octave. So boys and girls, on the way up in the song, we use the word major to describe those intervals. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh octave. And on the way down, we use the word minor. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh octave. Did you notice that there are 2 intervals going up and 2 intervals going down that don't change? They're the same whether the scale is going up, whether the interval song is going up, or whether the interval song is going down. Did you hear those words? Listen one more time. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh octave. What was that word? Perfect. Okay, it was perfect. So perfect intervals don't change whether you are going up in the scale or going down in the scale. Perfect intervals remain the same. There is a good reason for that, and I'm afraid it may be a little bit too complex right now, but I'm going to spill it out to you anyway. When you take an interval and you invert it, a perfect interval remains perfect. Here's a perfect interval from C to G. When I invert it, even though it changed to a fourth, it's still perfect. When you invert a minor interval, it goes to major, and when you invert a major interval, it goes to minor. That's why they are not perfect. Here's a good example. That's a minor sixth. That's a major third. They're both C and E. That's a minor sixth. That's a minor third. When you invert major or minor intervals, they go to the opposite. When you invert a perfect interval, it stays perfect. But you don't have to know that until you get into upper elementary or middle school. So let's go back to our interval song. See if you can sing it with me this time. Now that we know that as the scale goes up, it's major, and as the scale goes down, it's minor. Are you ready? Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh octave. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh octave. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh octave. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh octave. Woo! I'm getting hungry and tired. So there's only about 15 more minutes in this lesson. Only about 15 more minutes. Boys and girls, I'd like to show you, if you're lucky enough to have a piano in your house, I'd like to show you how you can play the interval song in your house. And even if you're not a piano player, it doesn't matter because I know a shortcut of how to do that. All right, do you remember where D in the doghouse is located? Everybody at Hilltop School needs to know how to find D on a piano, and it's the easiest, breeziest thing in the world. So super duper easy. Do you remember that the pattern of black notes? See the black notes? They come in 2s and 3s, don't they? 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. This is, oh, hey, here's a good question for you. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. That's part of the 3s or the 2s. It's part of the 3s. If the piano went on 2 forever, that would be part of the 3 group. Let's go backwards. 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. What will be next? Okay, 2. That's pretty easy. This piano is not 88 keys. A real 88 key piano would have more notes up here and more notes down here, so you would have more 2 and 3 groups. But here's how you find the D on your piano. Here's how you find the D on your piano. Find the 2 black notes, that's called the doghouse, and the dog lives in the middle. Here's 2 black notes, not 3, but 2 black notes, and the dog lives in the middle, D, dog. So there's our D. All right, here's another doghouse, and here's a dog. Here's a doghouse, and here's a dog. Here's a doghouse. That's a little bitty dog. Here's a big old dog down here. Doghouse, dog. Doghouse, dog. Medium-sized dog. You know, this is kind of fun to think about. Do you remember Lucky? Do you remember my great big black German Shepherd? Well, unfortunately, Lucky doesn't live with me anymore. He had to go live with somebody who's better able to take care of him. He's living with a fireman, and the fireman works in Mount Laurel, and that's really awesome, although I miss Lucky a whole lot. But when it was necessary for my dad to go into a nursing home, the dog had to go bye-bye. So that was very, very sad. But this would be what Lucky would sound like if he was a piano note for sure. He would definitely be that sound. He would definitely not be this sound. Because by the time Lucky made it to full adulthood, he weighed 120 pounds. That's not as much as me, but that's pretty close. That's more than anybody, any one of you. It's more than any one of you. He weighed 120 pounds. Okay, so here's D in the doghouse. Here's the doghouse and the dog. Doghouse, dog. This is my right hand. I'm going to take my right index finger and I'm going to put it on D in the doghouse. Okay, do you see it? Do you see it? This is my left hand index finger. I'm going to put it right next door. It's the only comfortable place it would go. I wouldn't go up here with it. It wouldn't be so comfortable. It's just right next door. Okay? So here's our C. This note is C, like cat. So dog is here, cat is here. Dog, cat. Now watch this. Watch real carefully. I'm going to start with cat. Isn't that cool? So here's our D in the doghouse. I'm putting my index finger of my right hand, this is my right hand, on D in the doghouse. My left hand index finger right next door. And I start with the C. Keep playing the C. Don't move the C. And just move the one that was on dog up. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh octave. Now, if you watch very carefully, you'll see what I'm doing. Here's the C, because here's a new D in the doghouse. There's a new D. So here's C, and now I have my right hand on it. I'm going to move this one up. Cool, let me do it for you one more time. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh octave. I want to use the last 10 minutes of this lesson to show you how to draw your own piano keyboard and then how to label the intervals. So let's get rid of our stair step. Do you remember why we did the stair step on the scale? To show you how the grand staff, that's the 5 lines and 4 spaces of the treble clef and the 5 lines and 4 spaces of the bass clef, how they relate to the notes of a scale. This is going to take just a second for it to dry, so I'll keep talking to you. Do you remember my Montessori board I made? Let's review this while we're waiting for this to dry. Because dry erase boards have to be really dry before you try to write on them again, or else the pens don't work, right? So we'll let that dry. Here's my Montessori board. I'm going to come in kind of close to you again. What goes right here? Can you tell me? Is it B, C, or D? It's C. If you said middle C, you're extra right. You're extra right. Now this is the treble clef, and I'm pointing to a line, so I know a line rhymes with fine. Every good boy does fine. Which one is this? It's at the bottom. It's in the first line. Every. Okay, so let's say them all. Every good boy does fine. Now I'm going to put my finger in the space. So now my finger's in the space. Space rhymes with face, and so it's face. F A C E, right? Now let's see if we can remember the notes that are in the potential spaces around middle C. Here's middle C. What note goes above? What note is after C in the alphabet? Remember, the alphabet goes in the right direction this way, but it goes backwards when we're going down. So if we're on middle C and we're going up, what's after C? A, B, C, D, D. Okay, so here's D. Let's go back to C. What comes before C? A, B, C. Okay, B. Now, we could, if we knew the musical alphabet backwards really well, we could just keep going backwards. A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, Grandpa G. Or we can remember, good boys do fine always, and all cows eat grass. I bet the board is dry now. So here's what I want you to see on the board. I'm going to show you the best and most awesome way to draw a piano keyboard. Will you get a piece of paper and a pencil and a ruler if you're neat? If you like things to be neat and lines to be straight and all that, get a ruler. Otherwise, you don't need it. I'm going to show you how to do this. Are you ready? The first thing we do, here's your piece of paper. Boys and girls, I'm putting the piece of paper landscape again, which means it's not straight up and down, it's on its side. It's on its side. So here's my piece of paper. And in my piece of paper, I'm going to draw a great big rectangle, just like this piece of paper. It has the same proportions as the piece of paper, okay? It's just a rectangle just like that. Can you do that? Doesn't look like a piano so far, does it? All right, so now, this is the fun part. Do you remember the 2 black notes and the 3 black notes? We're going to draw the black notes. Take your time with this because I want you to make all the black notes the same size, and I want you to make them the same distance apart. I'll show you what I mean. Here's a black note. Here's the halfway mark. It's more than halfway. It goes down more than halfway. Here's a black note. Okay. I'm going to skip the space where a black note would go, and I'm going to come right here. Here's a black note. If this is the 2 black note group, what should this one be? The 3 black note group, right? Okay. Here's my 3 black notes. I've still got room left, so I'm going to keep going. Skip a space equal to one of the black notes. And I still have a lot of space left, but I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to add any more after that because I just don't need to. Now, if I want to, I can color these in. If I've got the time and I want to do it, I can color these in. And if you color them in, they'll look a lot more like a piano when you're done. I'm going to color one of them in, and that way you can make the decision to do it on your own or not. So here's one of my black notes. If I color them in, it helps it just makes it look a lot more like a piano and less like a bunch of lines. In fact, let me go ahead and do the second one too. Do you remember there? I'm not Miss Anna Claire, so my drawings are not very good. They're more like drawings. I mean, more like sketches, I guess. Hey, I got to ride my motorcycle a couple times today, and it was really fun. There was a little bit of rain out here where I live, but not too bad. And I got home just in time. It was just starting to rain, which always makes me kind of happy. You don't want to ever ride a motorcycle in the rain if you can avoid it. It's not a lot of fun. Here's my black notes. Now watch this. I'm going to change colors so you can see what I'm doing next really easily. You keep the same color, but I'm going to change. Here in this space, I'm going to draw a line that goes straight down. Boom. Here in this space, I'm going to draw a line that goes straight down. And here in this space, I'm going to draw a line that goes straight down. Boys and girls, all these lines are equidistant to each other, meaning they're the same distance apart. It's almost like jail bars maybe, or something like that, where everything is very equal. Maybe you can think of something. Now I'm going to also draw lines from the very middle of the black notes straight down. From the very middle of the black notes straight down. Just like that. You see how I'm in the very middle of the black note and I'm going straight down. Well, look at that. How about that, right? If you're a piano player, gosh, like Nicholas or Alex or Elise or a bunch of you take piano, you already can recognize that, right? And I'm going to come back now and fill in because I really like the way my filled in notes look. So I'm going to fill in a few more. They just seem to look a lot better. Boys and girls, what are you going to have for dinner tonight? I don't know what I'm going to have yet. I still have a lot of groceries in my house, although I went back to the grocery store again today to buy some more stuff. I like to go to the Piggly Wiggly here in Mount Laurel. Have you been there before? Yeah. I like soup, and you know, I bought some soup. I bought the Western soup. Western soup has corn and lots of different beans in it, and I don't think this one has any meat. I think it has tomatoes and other good vegetables in it. And then I'm going to get my protein, which it's very important to have protein in meals. I'm going to get my protein out of the beans that are in the soup, because beans are rich with protein. So maybe that's what I'll eat tonight, because I have it sitting at my house. And maybe I'll make some rice to go along with it. It sounds pretty good. So here's my piano keyboard. Now I'm going to cover up the green lines with orange. I've made them green to start. I'm covering them up with orange because I don't want them to stick out as much anymore. Now that you know what I did, I'm just going to cover them up, okay? Now, based on what I told you before about how to find D in the doghouse, can you go ahead and identify, you know, without these colored in, guys, without these colored in, it's kind of hard to tell, isn't it? I'll at least do that. Okay, these are the black notes. All right. It does help a little bit. Here's my two black notes, and here's my D. So let me go ahead and label that one. D. Now I could find another D the old-fashioned way, which is D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Or I could just look for the two black notes. Just look for the two black notes, and I know my D is in the middle. Because I know where D is, I know where all the other alphabet notes are. All I have to do is think carefully. Before D in the alphabet, A, B, C, D is C. After D in the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E. What's next? Correct. What's next? Good. Better stop there because something happens in music, right? What happens now? It's not H. Yes, you go back to A. You go back to A. There is no H. There are only 7 letters in the musical alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Hey, it worked. Okay, and then, shoo. Have you seen this before? ETC, period, is a Latin word, et cetera. It means and so on, and so on, and so on. Or it keeps going. So I wrote et cetera, ETC there, to mean it keeps going. after that. So let's just check our alphabet to make sure that I haven't messed up. The B and the A are here, so I'll go ahead and just write those. In fact, this note could be the B and the A, and then this way I'll put etc. It goes forward that way. So here's our C, D, E, F, G. Start over. A, B, C, D, E, F. What would go there? G, and then what would happen after that? A. Boy, you guys are getting good at this. You're getting good at that. So I really feel bad that my black notes aren't colored in very well. They don't look so good. They look really kind of awful. Would you do a better job on your black notes than I have? Okay, so this is my piano keyboard, and I'm going to show you how to do some intervals. How to do some intervals right now. Are you ready? Remember, the intervals are major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, and octave. And just between me and you, octave is actually a perfect interval. Octave is actually a perfect interval, so we write it as P8. All right, so are you ready? Here we go. From C to D is our major second. You count the note that you start with, and you count the note that you end on, and that gives us 2. 1, 2. So that's a major second. What about from C to E? Count the note you're on, and the note you end on, and the one in the middle. 1, 2, 3. That's a major third. What about C to F? Count the note you start on and the note you end on, and you tell me, what is the interval from C to F? But not major, though. It should be perfect, right? Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. We just went from C to F. We have to count the C, and we have to count the F. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is a perfect fourth. Let's go from C to G. What's that interval? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect fifth. Perfect fifth. Let's go from C to A. What's that interval? Not perfect. Major. Good, good, good. Major sixth. Man, we're almost done. Let's go from C to B. 1, 2, 3. Don't forget, you have to start the note. You have to start counting from the first note, and you also have to count the last note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Major 7, and let's do that international 7. And we've got one more to go. Actually, we can do a few more. We can do a few more. Let's go from C to C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll put the P before it because we learned a little while ago that octaves are perfect. And it makes sense that an octave is perfect because an octave backwards or forwards is still an octave and it's still perfect. It hasn't changed in this interval, has it? It's still perfect. Remember, major intervals inverse to minor intervals and minor intervals inverse to major intervals. Let's keep going because theoretically there is such a thing as a major ninth. There's a major 10th and a perfect 11th. Sounds kind of crazy, doesn't it? Sounds kind of crazy. So here we go. Here's our whole entire song right here. Major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, octave. Minor second, minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, minor sixth, minor seventh, octave. And boys and girls, I'm getting kind of excited about this as a music teacher because it allows me to show you why it's minor on the way down and why it's major on the way up. And here's why. Between C and D, you have a black note. Major interval. Between C and B, whoa, nothing. Nothing. Minor interval. Because the major interval happens at the beginning, everything from there on up is major. Because the minor interval happens at the beginning here, everything from there on down is the minor. And if you don't believe me, if you're going, that can't be the case, here's what you do to check it. Count every single note. Every single note. A major second is defined as a total of 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. A minor second is defined as a total of 2 notes. 1, 2. I got a crazy question for you. If you can answer this, I'll be so proud of you. Intervals can have black notes in them. What is this interval? What if I went from this note in the doghouse to this note in the doghouse, and I have this note in between? That's 3 total notes. 1, 2, 3. That means it's major. Yes, it means it's major. Now look right here. If I go from E to F, only 2 notes, not 3 notes. So therefore it's minor. Try this one. This is going to be crazy. We're going from this black note right here, to this C. Wow. So we have 1 note, 2 notes, 3 notes. 3 notes is major. Boys and girls, I think you're going to get it. I'm so proud of you. This is a hard lesson. This lesson is harder than the one coming after it. Lesson 4 is a little bit easier. I would love it if you watch this lesson 2 times or maybe 3 times to see if you can get all the material in your head. The last thing I wanted to do tonight, because now that we've been talking about Santa Fe soup, is I want to go home and eat because I'm getting hungry. And I want to play 2 songs for you. Let's do Sarah Sponda. See if you remember this. Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, red set set. Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, red set set. Adore-o, adore boom de-o, adore boom de, red set set, passe passe-o. Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, red set set. Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, red set set. Adore-o, adore boom de-o, adore boom de, red set set, passe passe-o. Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, red set set. Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, Sarah Sponda, red set set. Adore-o, adore boom de-o, adore boom de, red set set, passe passe-o. Boys and girls, you can't get much more major and happy sounding than Sarah Sponda, right? That song is solidly, solidly, solidly in a major key. It doesn't ever get sad, does it? Remember how I told you that songs are either in major key or in minor key or in a modal mixture, which means both of them? That song is happy, 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 happy the whole time, right? Do you remember this one? Let me put it in the right key. In Italy there lived a Dame Maria Montessori. In history they wrote her name, listen to her story. We honor Maria, Maria Montessori. She taught us to blossom, to flower and to grow. We honor Maria, Maria Montessori. She taught us to blossom, to flower and to grow. That song is about as minor a key as you can get. It doesn't ever switch to a happy sound. It stays in a minor key the whole time. I will try to, you know what? Let me play Sarah Sponda for you in a sad key. Tercera Sponda in a minor key. Boy, it doesn't sound happy all of a sudden, does it? Now let me play the Maria Montessori song in a major key. Changes everything, doesn't it? Now do you see why I told you that one of the most important characteristics of all characteristics of music is major or minor or modal mixture, which means both. You know what? There's a song by the Beatles called Imagine. Imagine is a good example of modal mixture, a song that can't seem to stay in major and can't seem to stay in minor. There's also a song called Puff the Magic Dragon. That one cannot seem to stay in major and it cannot seem to stay in minor. It goes back and forth between the two of them. But a lot of songs, especially simpler, more basic songs, like, here's a good example, Scarborough Fair by the Beatles. That one is in a minor key and stays in a minor key. So minor songs most of the time sound kind of sad, and major songs most of the time sound kind of happy. So okay, boys and girls, I'm getting really hungry now, and I'm going to end this lesson. I hope you guys are doing okay. I'm doing okay. One of the things that I've been doing at my house is cleaning. Are you helping Mom and Dad clean your house a lot? You know, I've never really enjoyed it, but now I'm kind of enjoying it because I don't have a lot of other stuff to do. Tomorrow I'm thinking about weeding my garden, which if you live in Mount Laurel, you don't really have any grass, so you just have pine straw, and little plants grow up between the pine straw. So when I say weeding my garden, it means I go out there and I pull the plants up that are trying to grow through the pine straw. So anyway, I'll be thinking about you and thinking about the next lesson that I record for you. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Boys and girls, don't be sad. Remember, I'm going through this too. Miss Nama's going through it too. Miss Anna Claire's going through it too. Miss Michelle's going through it too. Everybody you know, everybody you know is going through the same thing. Nobody's having any fun. But we will get through this. And there'll be a day when it's sunshiny and bright and we're swimming in the swimming pool or doing all the things that we love to do that we can't do right now. And I can't wait for that day, and I know you can't wait for that day. And I can't wait to see you again soon. Goodbye, boys and girls.